Hey friends, I'm back with another Zoom chat, and this time it's not a local or national media member, but it's someone who I value even more so. It's someone that I've gotten to know over the past couple of years, a good friend of mine, and we chat on Zoom often, and we hang out, and we can talk Canucks, we can talk not Canucks, and that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some of the things the Canucks are involved with and his involvement with the team and without the team as well. So please welcome my guest, Lucas Gates. Hi, Lucas.
Hey Clay, it is great to be on. Great to be on today. And just before we begin, I do want to, of course, just to send my well wishes to those folks in the unfortunate incident that happened in Lynn Valley. My apologies. So I send my thoughts and my well wishes to those folks.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. Thank you. And when I release this, it'll be Tuesday morning, so it will be a few days old, but still, the pain is obviously still there. And it just doesn't it show you just how important it is to value the things and the people that are most important to you.
Absolutely, Clay. Absolutely. So I just wanted to send my well wishes before we begin this interview today.
Awesome. Well, you're obviously showing what a caring person you are. And I know that already, and getting to know you over the past few years, not only on Twitter, but meeting you at games and now hanging out on Zoom chats once in a while. Tell us a bit about yourself, Lucas. Tell, maybe, school, work, and some hobbies, and then we'll get right into things.
All right, Clay, thanks so much. So my name is Lucas Gates. Of course, I am. If you follow me on Twitter, I bet you a few you do. I'm an autism advocate. So this is what we're going to be discussing about today, as the Canucks will be hosting Autism Acceptance Night at Rogers Arena on Wednesday as of this going up. So I'm actually an autism advocate. I also work with Canuck Sports and Entertainment in retail. Well, unfortunately not right now because of the pandemic, as of the world situation, as of this going up. So hopefully we'll be back from time for next season. Fingers crossed. And then I'm also involved with other organizations when it comes to autism. I got a lot on my plate. I work with the Pacific Autism Family Network, with their advocacy group, the Voice of Autism. So if any of them are from my VOA gang, hey guys, as well as I'm a board member with Autism DC. So I'm officially a board member as an autism nonprofit, and I'm also I'm sort of have good ties with Canucks Autism Network as well. So it all comes together.
Awesome. Well, before we get into the autism and the Autism Network and the day on Wednesday night, which I do want to talk about, I want to ask you, tell me about the jerseys you have behind you. Those look pretty sweet, man.
Good thing you brought that up, Clay. Actually, this was actually intentional. So all three of these jerseys are all representative of the teams that play at Rogers Arena, and that I'm also working with, in quote unquote. So obviously you can tell one of them is the reverse retro. The other one in the middle is the Vancouver Titans. And of course, I do have to give a shout out to those guys. I promised I'd live up to it. So the so-called hashtag force of nature. And then on the furthest side is our lacrosse team, the NLL's Vancouver Warriors, the Weekend Warriors. And I actually know a few of the guys. So if any of them are watching this, hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Looking forward to seeing you guys back on playing again next season.
That's good, because if I would give them the shout out, I probably said, can't wait to see you on the ice. And then they know that I'm a big fat liar. So that's cool. Jersey, that reverse retro, I wasn't sold on it, Lucas, when I first saw it. Then when I saw them playing it, despite how poorly they played in it, it looked good on the ice, but it actually looks good sitting there. Is there a number or a name on that, or is it plain?
Plain. Actually, one thing I actually don't do is actually put player numbers, because just so you all know, even though I do sell these on a regular basis, I am the most jinxiest person when buying a player name or number, because you don't want to accidentally make something that, you don't want to accidentally regret the purchase if you don't want to feel guilty about it. That's why I have my name and my number on the back. Oh
yeah, that looks good. 92, I would buy a 92 Gates jersey for sure. That looks good.
Yeah, actually, this was this was actually, obviously you can tell it's the beauties right here. And I knew when I was working there, they were selling absolutely wild. So if the fans are listening to this, yes, we heard you.
So speaking of your work in the team store, what's it like? What's the energy like during a game night when you're working in there?
Oh my goodness, Clay. It is a blast. To be honest, the team, it's like how we work in the team store is like exactly working like on the ties on the ice. It's a whole, they build it like a team atmosphere. I have to give total props to the organization for how they handle the work environment. I swear, if you're looking for somewhere to get in, like if you want to work for the Canucks, I swear you should definitely look into it if it's something you're up for. I could not be happier working for an organization that really cares about people first. Again, this is just from my perception, but Team Star has been an absolute go-get attitude, very fast-paced though, which a lot of people on the spectrum might not be able to hand, as well as being in a loud building. You know, if it's full on a regular hockey game, goes up to like 18,000 seats, which is absolutely crazy. And usually myself, when I was young, couldn't handle that. So yeah, it's kind of weird how it goes full circle, because I actually, if you want to know this, Clay, I grew up as a fan of the Vancouver Grizzlies at that arena. So
nice.
It comes around full circle.
Yeah, no, I'm a Grizzlies fan as well. And, you know, it's crazy how you talk about the sensory overload for anyone. And I just picture being in the team store during intermissions. It is crazy. You can't move. And that was all obviously pre-COVID, right? So what a difference that even when I see crowds on TV at sporting events, it just feels weird yeah.
Yeah, I totally hear you the exact same thing. And to be honest, because I'm also in retail too, I want to say thank you to all those retail employees who are working like at the grocery stores and stuff. You are doing the Lord's work, and I definitely say, well, you know what? No, seriously, I'm just saying you are doing amazing work. I'm not religious, but I just want to say thank you, because you're good. They're going through a lot, and I could totally sympathize with them. It's not easy, you know, and because you have to deal with such a high bar. But I mean, if you could hold it under pressure, you're fine. So yeah.
Well, I can already tell, Lucas, I think people watching this can already tell that you're a very genuine, humble, and very caring person. So let's get into this Wednesday. So I'm releasing this on Tuesday morning. So tomorrow night, Wednesday night, the Canucks host the Calgary Flames, their first game back after a week off. And it is labeled as World Autism Acceptance Day as part of their Hockey is for Everyone campaign that's running throughout the season. Obviously a wonderful initiative. Let's start like this. What were your thoughts when you heard that the Canucks were going to recognize autism as part of their Hockey is for Everyone campaign this year?
Actually, Clay, I knew this was coming. I've always known this was coming every year, because for the last couple of years now, they've actually been doing this, these events every year.
Yeah.
Because so of course, actually, I know, so they've been advertising like tenfold. Again, sorry,
no, that's good. If you can bring people behind the curtain and give them some inside scoop, that's good. We like that.
So anyway, they've been doing this for the last couple of years. So anyway, I do want to stress that with the advertising, when there's fans, of course, I'm talking from a fan perspective, because I know absolutely nothing about the entertainment value this year or what they're doing. So anyway, I'm talking from what I know from within. So anyway, when they have hockey games and whatnot, a few of our staff actually have a badge. You'll probably see this at every Rogers Arena event. So this is not just Canucks. This is also Titans, Warriors, even concerts or just non-sporting events. We have a plan in place where you can go like saying, it says I can help, because CAN is acronym for Canucks Autism Network. So they built a sensory plan in place, and that's actually a thing that I do want to stress enough about, because I know there's a lot of other places around. If I'm aware, there's other locations, not just in Vancouver, but across the sporting world that actually has done this, not just in Canada, but the States as well.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned CAN as well, the Canucks Autism Network. My first experience, Lucas, with it, as you know, was I volunteer at the annual Jake Milford golf tournament, which I think a lot of the proceeds go amongst other places to CAN as well. So right. I know my son Sean caddied for Bo Horvat 5 years ago, and he's got the nice, the penny on with the acronym on there. So thank you, first and foremost, for your work and your advocacy. And before I press record, you were telling me that you were diagnosed on the spectrum as early as 6 years old for you. Is that correct?
That is correct. So actually, this was in the late 90s. So of course, for hockey fans, that kind of was during the West Coast Express days. This is way, 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 way before I became a hockey fan, like diehard. Believe it or not, folks, I was actually a diehard Grizzlies fan. I loved basketball in this market, and I'm still bitter that we don't have a team right now. Fingers crossed we have one again in the future. But yeah, it was not easy because, you know, I had like 2 years of pre-K because I needed this. My parents kept me back 1 year. So I actually did not have a technical K year. So I had 2 pre-Ks, then went right to grade 1 because I was still speech delayed, not like I am now.
No, I would have never guessed, honestly. That's awesome. So, was it a challenge for you then growing up through elementary and high school, or is it something you embraced, or is it just became part of your everyday life?
Definitely schooling was trickiest. Very, 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 very hard. Especially because I think I was, if I was not mistaken, the first kid in my school at the time that had a known diagnosis. I'm trying to remember if I knew any other people, but if I was a known, they'd probably be undiagnosed because, you know, diagnoses are always a pain in the neck. Yeah. But anyways, going forward, but I mean, high school was just, don't even bring up high school whatsoever. I love my counselor in high school. She's still there. I'm actually 5 minutes away from my alma mater. So, but yeah, it was not fun. But I mean, I really started to gain my own after, I would say roughly about 5 or 6 years ago, actually, right around the time where after I left working for my dad. So, and for those who are interested, my dad is a garment wholesaler. So it kind of feels like it runs in the family kind of thing when I'm
Lucas, you're a better hype man than I am. I think I'm pretty impressed by your ability here.
That's why I'm in retail.
Okay, so you mentioned out of about 5 or 6 years ago, you felt you really coming into your own, really getting more involved. So let's talk about some of that involvement then. I guess let's start with the Canucks Autism Network, and you're telling me also that you would love to tell the story of how it started.
Oh, by the way, Can has not really been disclosing about this, but I know Can knows this inside. But again, because how big they are, let me just explain. This is really, really funny. So for your listeners who want to know, I have a sister with Down syndrome as well. So I'm not the only one with a developmental disability. So this happened in 2007, actually. So this was over a decade or so ago. I had a sister. Sister went to play on a regular girls soccer team, and then what happened was my mom went to go pay the coach, the $100, the registration fee, that kind of shit. This is where Can comes into this. So don't worry. I'm just explaining how it started, how it all came to be. Anyway, coach took my mom's side, said my sister would be a liability because she had a visible disability. I'm not kidding. This was huge. It was a discrimination case. Let's put it this way. I mean, I don't want to go too far from autism, but this was massive. Media rang us up. It was a circus. Anyway, fast forward to April 2008 when we started our soccer team, and you wouldn't believe who came to our field around the first couple of months or so. It was representatives of the Aquilinis came to our field. And they were asking us how do we did it because they want to start something called Canucks Autism Network, and that's actually how they actually learned from us so they could help develop them. And you know what? That's actually that's even because I'm volunteering them, I'm still affiliated with them all these years later. It's actually funny how my involvement with Can happened years before I officially was affiliated with them. It's quite funny.
Wow, that is pretty cool. So there must be a certain, although you're not a very proud person in a bad way, there must be a certain element of pride though when you see the name, how well it's doing, and that you're still involved.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Can's done amazing things. And at their 10th anniversary, by the way, actually, because I was a volunteer, and of course, one of our coaches happens to be a volunteer, by the way. I don't want to say his name, but you'll probably recognize when he says team meeting. For anyone who's in the soccer program, you'll know who I'm talking about. Seriously. You'll know who you are. You'll know who you are. But anyways, during the 10th anniversary, they had like a big thing at the city hall, like Surrey City Hall. And of course, I was writing a little thing saying, congratulations on 10 years, Can, from Lucas and the Blazing Soccer Dogs. That's actually our team name, the Blazing Soccer Dogs, because we actually do go back, and we still communicate. And they're all such amazing folks over there, Can. And our community, the more is the merrier when it comes to services. And I'm not doubting that. And I really want to thank Can for all they're doing, even in these tough situations right now, because I know a lot of services went like this.
Yeah.
Especially nonprofits too, because it's been a tough year for everybody.
Lucas and the Blazing Soccer Dogs. That sounds like a band name or something. You
know what? Actually, let me explain this to you. This team name, actually, that was my creation because I put the apostrophe for Blazing Soccer Dogs because we're unique and cool. Actually, for those who are interested, I'll send, it should be, I could probably give you the URL and probably you can paste it in the thing for anyone who's interested about what we do. And actually we're moving beyond soccer. We're also doing in diverse employment as well. So we're now we're starting to become more Vantergrade in a nutshell.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I'll send, it should be in the description afterwards.
No, yeah, we'll put it in there for sure. So you have this, you're working for the team in the team store. You are an advocate and affiliate, as we call it, with the Canucks Autism Network.
Yes.
Your professional job is working for the Pacific
Autism Family Network. That is correct.
Wow.
So yeah, that's actually my main job at the moment because of course, well, technically I have 3 part-time jobs. The Canucks one is on hiatus, but I'll explain about the 2 ones that I work for the center in a bit. But so my job there is actually regularly is actually that I'm doing a lot of work when it comes to helping families get the phone calls and all that stuff. And I know I've been there since like the beginning because our center is actually going to be turning 5 this year. So
Awesome.
We've been there for a long time. And I mean, it's a great organization. The family who owns the Century Plaza Hotel and Spa in downtown Vancouver are the founders of this organization. I know them personally. It's an amazing organization. I would not be where I am, like how I would build myself confidence without the support I've been getting from them like lately. You know, it's been an amazing initiative, and I know all the team, the staff over there, they know I do work for the organization as well, and they're proud of it. They don't care. Like they think good for you. They really don't care. They want more people who are autistic who are employed. So
Right.
That's more or less take it from there.
Cool. And you mentioned 3 part-time. So you got the team store, you have the Pacific Autism, and then
Oh, this one's actually a big one. I recently was hired as a part of the organization, part of a thing called the Autism and Integrated and Intellectual Disability Exchange. It's a government thing. It's a big deal, asset map.
Wow.
Trying to go across Canada. And actually, I'm hoping that I'll see what I can do regarding, I don't want to guarantee things, but I'm hoping eventually to have some inclusive sports kind of things involved with the asset map down the road. So here's the hoping.
Congrats, man. Wow, that's news to me. What are you going to do in that role? Do you know yet?
Actually, I do know. This is where I'm sitting right now is actually my workstation. So I'm helping add information and stuff. It's been an incredible initiative. And just to let your followers know, this was actually a part of the budget about a couple of years ago, $10 million the federal government chipped in. So it's for 4 years. It's a big deal.
Good. Well, okay. So obviously, there's no shortage of things to keep you busy, which is awesome. If you're cool with it, oh no, I want to ask you one more thing. We wanted to talk a bit about autism in sports overall, not just with the Vancouver Canucks Hockey Club.
Yes, Clay, I'm happy to say that prior to everything going south, I've actually noticed there was a lot of organizations happening throughout, like who are adopting more sensory friendly practices. And going back to the NHL, by the way, I'll bring up something really cool in just a bit, but I've seen organizations like the Las Vegas Raiders, the team that just moved to Las Vegas from Oakland. They have just recently added in a sensory thing at their stadium when they get fans back, which is awesome. Well, way to go, Silver and Black. I appreciate that. The Knights also have something. Winnipeg Jets at Bell MTS Place, they have something. Well, that's also the home of the Moose, so kind of that kind of thing. And I think right now, I'm trying to remember all the teams that I can remember off the top of my head. I think Cleveland, the Cavaliers have something, as well as the Sens at the Canadian Tire Center. That's all I can think off the top of my head right now. But
right.
Yeah.
But Lucas, when you say they have something, you're telling me like it's very all inclusive in even their arenas and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So they have like sensory kits, like sensory rooms, that kind of stuff. They basically consult with other parties and stuff. In fact, speaking about other sports in Vancouver, I can confirm with my day job, the Pacific Autism Family Network, prior to COVID shutdown, we actually had an agreement in place with the Vancouver Whitecaps and BC Lions, just generally BC Place. So hopefully we'll get getting something going again. And hey, you never know. Vancouver's already inclusive as is. Who knows what the future holds?
That's wonderful to hear that.
And before one thing, I want to go back to NHL because I feel this will actually be very cool to confirm to all your audience as well. There is a player on the spectrum who has come out in his diagnosis. He's not in the NHL right now. He was drafted 2014, I think. His name is Linus Soderstrom. He plays in the Finnish league for Assad or something like that. I think one of those teams over there. he's a goaltender. So, and he tried his luck with the Islanders. I think he tried his luck with Bridgeport, I think last season, or Worcester or something like that, but it didn't quite work out. Hopefully, you never know. I'd love to see him maybe suit up for the Comets or the K-Wings if we ever bring him on board. Hey, the glass ceiling's already been shattered. Let's make it a reality. Come on.
That's pretty. I did not know that. That's a cool story. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, he has to come out and disclose it. He has he's diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is lumped in with autism today, and ADHD, hyper deficit, ADHD. It's a long name, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. Okay, I have to look that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, look it up. He has hockey statistics. Look it up. Just like type in Linus Soderstrom autism. Yeah, it's true. I looked it up. It's real.
Awesome. And before we move to the Canucks proper, Lucas, do you know? So, not to put you on the spot, do you anticipate? What do you think they might do on Wednesday night? Probably like either in arena or on the broadcast, maybe a graphic and maybe a quick video thing, or what do you think they might do to recognize World Autism Acceptance Day? Yeah, I think
they'll just do like most likely they'll do a lot on social media. I mean, they'll probably have some stuff that's on the TV, like in arena, like on broadcast. But I think more or less it's going to be on social media, because social media is where they're really advertising this these days. Again, I know people in the broadcast in the entertainment section, so I could ask them, but at this time, I have sadly no idea.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense, because social media, especially with 18,000 people not in the arena, it's the easiest way to get the word out anyways, regardless. So very good. Yeah.
And also before we move on, I do want to stress that they already have confirmed they're going to have Al Murdoch's going to have a co-PA announcer. He's actually a good colleague of mine. So Ryan Chilton, buddy, knock it dead on Wednesday. Knock it dead tomorrow night. I know you'll do great, pal. I know
that's awesome. Great. Okay, so Ryan will be up with Al on the PA, on the microphone. That's all. I'm looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, I've actually met him a couple times. Good kid. I wish him all the best.
Cool. All right, let's talk about these Canucks for a few minutes then. Sitting where we are, as we've talked about together and on my stuff as well, Canucks, if they want to make the playoffs, going to have to go 15-4 basically. Yeah. So 2 questions, Lucas. Do you think A, it's possible, and B, is this team where you expected they'd be at this point in the season?
I mean, this season has been a very up and down road kind of thing, because we're playing the same teams back to back, sort of MLB style. So realistically, this is not the schedule we're used to. And I know the players are obviously not adjusted to this kind of scheduling shtick, because, in baseball, like they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, like in a row, and they have way more games than we do on a regular basis. They have 182 overall. Yeah. And yet we have like only 50 or something. So it's very tiring for everybody. It's not just us that's suffering from it, but I mean, also we didn't have a preseason too. So yeah. So obviously there's bound to be some rust in this season. And personally, just my opinion, whoever wins the cup this year, even if it's us or anyone else, there's going to be a huge asterisk this year, because look what happened with all the teams down in the U.S. They've had a huge amount of outbreaks, and obviously no disrespect for all the other organizations. They're trying their hardest, and I commend them for that. But it's been a very difficult year for any organization to have to pull through this. So whoever gets the cup, I congratulate them, even if it's us or someone else. But I do think there'll be a huge asterisk, sort of like Tampa Bay when they won in the bubble in September. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Give me one player who surprised you this year in a good way, that you're really excited, that maybe you either didn't know about or didn't anticipate being so excited for.
Me, I'm really happy that Niels Hoglander is living up to expectations. I mean, this kid is absolutely lighting her up. And I mean, look at I feel bad for Petey though, having being on that long-term injury reserve. Yikes. Yeah. Hope he gets better. Hope you get better soon, Petey. We miss you. But I know he's probably taking it easy, stepping back a little bit, not like pushing it, because obviously he didn't suffer with a sophomore slump. Thank goodness. So and then also Quinn Hughes is not like slowing down anytime soon. Although we do think he was robbed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Petey, if you're watching this, I know you're watching this. Lucas says, hope you get better soon.
You know what? I mean, I watch you on Twitch too, buddy. So hope all is well. I mean, get better soon. The upper body UBI injuries suck. Yeah,
I hear you. UBI, LBI, MBI, that's middle body injury. I made that up. Yes, anything. Do you think the Canucks should indeed be aggressive in trying to get assets for their UFAs like Pearson, Sutter, Hamonic, Ben. I know some of them have modified or full no trade, but should they, Canucks be exploring that? Are we at that point now?
I mean, it's Benning's I know Jim Benning is not he knows what he's doing. He's a scout first and foremost. I know it's been a tough year for everybody because I know fans out there. I know it's under expectations, and I know the big boss, the big cheese upstairs, definitely knows that there's always bound to be improvements. You have one really up year and then you have one down year. It's every year you have to stay low ground, unfortunately. You have to stay low ground and then sort of build up, You don't want to overhype a team to the point where you're like, oh, I don't like this team anymore, I'm jumping ship. You have to have some realism, unfortunately, I mean, look at all those fans like in the NBA right now. Look what they're talking about, the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers, and everyone's jumping ship over to them. Yeah. So if they bounce out, like look at the Clippers last year. Everyone was like saying, oh, they're going places, and they crashed. So obviously you have to sort of keep a little level-headed before you come to a conclusion because, for example, the Corey Schneider trade for Bo Horvat back in when we drafted him, everyone said New Jersey actually robbed us. You obviously remember that. Yep. Everyone said like, who is this Bo Horvat kid? Like, who is he? Turns out Corey Schneider just fell right off a cliff. Feel bad for the guy. Jersey tore him terribly. Yep. But I mean, to be honest, that's why I say don't just jump the gun and say this team's a goner. Just trust the boys. The boys, you can't. You aren't there in person. So what do you expect? Like they don't have the kind of atmosphere they normally do during a hockey game. You just gotta let the boys do what they're doing best. And these guys you want to see their chemistry too. This is my opinion, not representative of everybody.
No, I love it. Well said. And it's a strange year and one that we do have to keep in perspective. All right, Lucas, let's end off with the 5-hole. These are my 5 favorite questions. And as always, you can answer these as in depth or as quickly as you want to. You ready to go?
Let's rock and roll.
All right. What's the sport that you excel the most in?
Sport that I excel the most in is, I'd say actually basketball. I'm more of a basketball kind of guy. I'm actually, here's a little tidbit. I'm terrible at skating. I'm not kidding. I actually tried it once and it wasn't my shtick.
Well, thankfully there's no skating in basketball.
Yeah, I know, right? That was actually my first love, by the way. So obviously you understand why I'm a big NBA fan. We the North.
How tall are you?
About 6'1", 6'1.5".
So would you play like a tall shooting guard or were you a small forward?
I don't really play. I don't play organized. I just play like pickup. I play pickup. Well, of course, if I had people, I could still do that. Unfortunately, where I am right now, we don't really have a hoop. So I could just but I mean, I am also good with soccer because, of course, the soccer team. And actually, if I had more time on my hands, because of these guys right at the back over here, and I know some of those guys, I'm actually sort of liking the game of lacrosse now because, obviously we have it in-house now.
Very good. Awesome. Number 2, if you're starting a team from scratch, Elias Pettersson or Quinn Hughes?
Personally, again, no disrespect for PD, but I think if I really want to build on a strong player, I'd probably go Quinner. Sorry, no disrespect for the PD or the alien.
It's okay. He's not watching. I was just joking. He's not watching.
I know. I'm just saying PD or the alien, as some fans. Shout out to the Church of Pettersson. We hear you. But yeah, I mean, Huggy Bear, I definitely feel is he's tougher. He's got a little bit more grit. And again, no disrespect for PD, but I mean, I would go with Huggy Bear.
Yeah, and you're not alone. I think a lot of people say we've had some really good centers, thank God, like the Sedins and stuff, but we've never had, or Henrik, but we've never had a true bona fide number 1 defenseman like Hughes. Yeah. So that's a completely acceptable answer there.
And by the way, since I actually know this, actually, for anyone who's in, I know Quinn will also be interested in this. Happy Passover to all those who are celebrating, because I know Quinn Hughes is also celebrating as myself and my family. So I just wanted to send my regards, just as a common courtesy.
Well, you know everything. I'm impressed. Okay, number 3, and you won't offend me because I'm half Japanese, half Chinese. What's your favorite between these 2 foods? What's your preference, Japanese food or Chinese food?
I hate to be the bad news, Clay. None of the above.
Oh, you're the first person who said none. So not a fan of the Asian delicacy?
I tried it once. It just doesn't agree. It's nothing against, but it's just it just doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't agree. It's no disrespect. It's just,
no offense taken. It's not like I'm the one cooking it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, no, I tried it, not for me.
Okay, no problem. Speaking of dinner, and it doesn't have to be Japanese or Chinese food, if one of these guys is taking you out for dinner and they're paying for you, but you get to pick their brain for an hour and a half, are you going out to dinner with Travis Green, Jim Benning, or Francesco Aquilini?
I'd probably go with the boss, Francesco Aquilini.
Why?
Actually, why? Because I like to know more about how management works and that kind of stuff. Because it's always good to learn from the higher up, so you can have more of an understanding about things. I'm more of like an organizational kind of person.
Yeah.
Again, I like to see from the top down, because I like to see things being built up. Because if you're just down, like low down on the ground, it's not like you can sort of see the eye of everything. Because again, I'm an organizational guy, and yeah.
Perfect. Good answer. And this one, for our last question, Lucas, you can take a couple seconds to think about this one. What's one thing that people don't know about you? What's one thing people don't know about Lucas Gates?
One thing they don't know about me. One thing they probably don't know about me is, this one's a really good question, Clay.
Well, thank you.
I mean, this is a really good question. I mean, I'm trying to think of many things that
Take your time. I can stall for a couple seconds.
Oh, you know what? Actually, Clay, here's a really cool little tidbit, actually. I think I posted this here on YouTube as well. So I think I shared this with you as well.
Yeah. And I did watch most of it.
Yep. So actually, I was actually part of a thing with the Vancouver School Board back in 2005. So 16 years ago or so. Oh, Lordy. So anyway, this was about me transitioning from elementary to high school. And trust me, I'm going to tell you this right now. I look so different than this back when I was like 12 compared to what I am. I'm 28.
Well, I kind of hope so. Like.
I mean, my voice was like this high. It was not even close to puberty yet. All in seriousness, this is a great little thing. I shared actually off the interview. I actually shared this video with Clay, because this is really informative for not just for and going in general. This is a great way to end it off, because this is actually my experience transitioning from elementary to high school. And so this was me before going into the high school, let's put it that way. It was, I don't want to use, no disrespect for high school, but it was that following year was, but I mean, it should be, if you can probably, Clay has the link, so you can probably put it in the description as well for any Canucks fans who want to watch it. It's on my personal YouTube channel as well. So if you feel like watching it, feel free to take a watch, and just know this is, this is basically this was my, teacher aide, this was my mom, this was my resource teacher, and of course me.
Awesome.
Just so you know, my dad was supposed to be in this, but because of him being on the road and that's his business, he wasn't there at the time. So
right.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, no, send me those links. We'll link to a couple things in the description. Well, Lucas, this has been wonderful. And I know, like I said at the top, we get to chat once a month at least, but it's nice that I'm able to bring a bit of your story to a wider audience, because, I do respect you a lot. I admire you. And I think it's wonderful. All the things that you're doing, both with the team, like I said, right at the top, and outside of the team with your work, your other volunteering, and your advocacy overall. You're such a voice, such an advocate, and such a positive influence. Where can people follow you if they want to learn more about what you do and just connect with you?
Oh my goodness, Clay. You know what? That's a great thing you brought up. I have social media almost across the board. I'm on Facebook. I have a public Facebook page. I have a Twitter, which that's how I interact with Clay. Insta, I think I have 3. I have a public Facebook page, Twitter, and Insta. Okay. So you can follow me on, sorry, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I got so many things nowadays.
Well, on Twitter, you're Lucas Gates 92. I know 92. That. Yeah.
Yep. Insta, I think. Yep. That's Lucas Gates 92, the same as well. And also, I'll, you know what? After this stream, I'll check with after this interview, I'll check with Clay and I'll post the thing as well, because I feel if you want to follow me on Facebook, I also have a page for Facebook as well, because I know a lot of people don't have Twitter or Insta or neither of the above, because I know social media off the top of my head, like I do a lot of them already.
Awesome. So if you want to connect with Lucas, there are certainly ways to do so. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Vancouver hosting Calgary, first game in a week, but more importantly, or at least relevant to our conversation today, also recognizing World Autism Acceptance Day as part of their Hockey is for Everyone campaign. So Lucas, once again, thanks for everything. Thanks for your witness, and thanks for your advocacy for all good things. And I can't wait to chat with you soon.
Same to you, Clay. And before we go, hopefully our boys can douse those flames and send them packing back to Cowtown.
I love it. Thanks, Lucas. Take care, bud.
Same to you, Clay. And be safe, everybody.
Perfect.